All right, let's dive into this because it's a story that's got the sports world buzzing. And personally, I think it's a perfect example of how power, money, and transparency, or the lack thereof, can collide in the most public way possible. So, Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, has been in the hot seat lately. And let me tell you, this saga has it all. Apologies, backroom deals, and a whole lot of finger-pointing. Here's the deal. Infantino tried to sell off a stake in the World Cup, and it backfired spectacularly. But what's really fascinating here isn't just the mistake itself. It's the reaction, the fallout, and what it says about FIFA's leadership. First off, let's talk about the World Cup sell-off plan. On the surface, it sounds like a business move, right? But here's where it gets messy. Multiple associations claimed they were left in the dark, and the deadline to approve the deal was just a month away. That's not just poor planning, it's borderline disrespectful. And a £30.1 million incentive? That feels like a bribe to rush through a decision without proper scrutiny. What makes this really interesting is how it highlights the power dynamics within FIFA. Infantino's team thought they could push this through quietly, but the backlash was swift and fierce. It's a reminder that even in the world's most powerful organizations, transparency isn't optional, it's essential. Now let's talk about the apology. Infantino and his Secretary General, Matthias Grafstrom, issued a letter saying they sincerely apologize for the errors. But here's the thing. Apologies only go so far when they're followed by defensiveness. FIFA's second statement was basically we're not taking this lying down manifesto, vowing to protect their reputation. Personally, I think that's a missed opportunity. Instead of doubling down, they could have used this as a moment to rebuild trust. But no, they chose to play the victim. What this really suggests is that FIFA's leadership is more concerned with saving face than fixing the root issues. And then there's the internal and external criticism. Arsene Wenger, FIFA's chief of global football development, publicly distanced himself, and Infantino's senior advisor, Carlos Cordero, resigned, calling the proposal irresponsible. Even the Jordan FA accused Infantino of blackmail. That's not just a PR nightmare. It's a full-blown crisis of confidence. UEFA saying they've lost confidence in FIFA's leadership? That's huge. It's not just about one bad decision. It's about a pattern of behavior that's alienating allies left and right. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a FIFA problem. It's a symptom of a bigger issue in global sports governance. Organizations like FIFA wield enormous power, but accountability often feels like an afterthought. Infantino's survival, at least for now, shows how difficult it is to unseat leaders in these structures, even when they're clearly out of touch. But here's the silver lining. The backlash proves that people, fans, associations, even insiders, aren't willing to stay silent anymore. If you take a step back and think about it, this whole saga raises a deeper question. What does it take for an organization like FIFA to truly change? Apologies and promises of doing better aren't enough. It's going to take systemic reform, and that starts with leadership that's willing to listen, not just react. Personally, I'm not holding my breath, but I'm hopeful that this moment will spark a bigger conversation about how we hold these institutions accountable. So where does this leave us? Infantino's still in charge, but his position feels more precarious than ever. The next FIFA Council meeting is going to be one to watch, especially with that promised report. Will it be a genuine effort at transparency, or just another PR move? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this isn't the last we'll hear about FIFA's leadership troubles. What do you think? Is Infantino's apology enough? Or is this just the beginning of the end for his presidency? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your take.